how much tension there is between like me and Alex's characters. When like as soon as it's yelled cut, I'm like a koala on her, and I'm like, Alex, let's talk about that kind of thing.
We have to tell them.
We're not doing that.
We have to tell them.
We're not doing that.
To start, I wanted to start with a fun question because this made me think of the worst possible place to be stuck with people. So, have you at this point figured out for each of you what the worst place to be stuck with a bunch of people you don't want to be with anymore would be?
Jail.
And you're really stuck there.
It sounds like Alex has like experienced this. She's like, let me tell you.
My time in jail is well. If you're stuck with a bunch of people you don't want to be with, I think being
Anywhere.
stuck is the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like the location can make it worse too.
When you're with a good group of people, like anywhere can be fun. I would actually, if I'm really answering that though, I think like under like deep sea water, like a submarine. Not.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Could you imagine? We couldn't even do elevation on the top of the mountain while filming. You think we could do deep sea? No.
We're in a spaceship to the moon.
No, I'm
rough. That's rough.
Just
You're
so
going
trapped.
out the stage much.
You can just be like Sandra Bullock in Gravity though, and just like propel yourself out of that thing and pray. I do love just pray for sweet Willie. But I love movies like this because I feel like when we get a good like comedy, it's not a romantic comedy in any way, shape, or form, but like when we get a good comedy like this, where it is, in a lot of ways, like just like the happenstance comedy of it, it's very, very, very fun. So Nora, I wanted to ask you first, when you're working on something like that and you're working within a genre that people have a lot of expectations on, how much fun was it for you to kind of like navigate the story you were telling while kind of subverting that at the same time?
Yeah, that is so funny. It's when I'm writing, I was not thinking about genre at all, and I'm glad it landed in somewhere because I was like, I wasn't even considering it. But what I was really considering was there for me in my life, there's always been humor in the greatest tragedies and in the most dramatic moments. Something's funny, or it's funny in hindsight, or even if you say something, you don't even mean it to be, but it could be. And so for me, it was really about striking that balance of like, we're going to be able to have moments of levity in the greatest dramatic scenes. And for me, as an audience, and when it premiered at Tribeca, because I usually only watch it by myself or with a couple other people, it's not the same thing. When I heard of a room full of 200 people laughing in the middle of the dramatic scene when they were meant to, I was so happy because I was like, oh, they feel comfortable enough that they can laugh in this moment and know that that was part of it. And I think that's a great testament to the actors in this movie for being able to do both comedy and drama seamlessly in one scene. And I think that really plays when you watch it now. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. And for both of you, for this friendship, I it's always so interesting because I know like I study theater and you have so much time to rehearse and become actual friends with people when you're doing something like that. And when there's a friendship, it's kind of easy to fall into it. But like with movies, they basically are like, hi, you guys get to meet. You're all supposed to be friends, like, and make it believable, which I know is your job, but it's also like sometimes it's hard to fake it. How was it though, not only being confined into this house for when you guys were filming, but getting to really kind of explore where these characters were both before and after everything happens as actors when you guys are in that situation?
Well, I think we were very lucky. I think all these actors are very open and really like, how you just meet people and you instantly like them and you could talk to them all night at a party. These are definitely those types of people. And I think actors in general, we're interested in human beings and in being around them and connecting with them, and otherwise we wouldn't do what we do. So you already have that sort of openness going for everybody once you get on a set. And certainly us being in one environment, we were on an off season ski resort. It helped us bond because we were all in this together and we were excited to do it, and it just really happened very naturally. But I do think that that's one of the cool things about being an actor is we're all like, let's connect, let's know everything about each other, and let's do it.
We're very lucky that it was the four of us. I think we said that a lot, and I think it's because I mean, coming into it, I think from the breadth of their work and also just hearing about them, I knew that all three of them were going to be like luxuries of scene partners and like to work with. But when when there's that sense of, I think it was just like such a safe set. It was we really just adored each other as human beings, and I really. It feels like we've known each other for years, and I think it gave us a lot of permission to kind of go further with our own characters, because like at the end of the day, like when watching it, it makes me laugh sometimes just personally, like how much tension there is between like me and Alex's characters, when like as soon as it's yelled cut, I'm like a koala on her, and I'm like, Alex, let's talk about, that kind of thing. So I think like having those kinds of opposite dynamics like actually infuses like so much chemistry within what you see on screen.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask a two-part question. It'll start with you, Nora, and then I want the two of you to talk about acting it, because I love when characters have to just be kind of honest without having like, the decision in that honesty, where they can't, like, it's, you have to be honest about it just because something else makes you do it. How
Mhm.
was it getting to write scenes like that? Because then there isn't the, like, the preconceived notion of a person's thinking, all right, here's my time, I'm gonna be truthful about this. It just kind of
Yeah.
has to happen.
I mean, it was so fun, and like the moonshine as a truth serum was really something I tried to thread through the first three-quarters of the film until that moment. Really, no one is telling the truth. It's a half truth. It's a roundabout truth. But in that moment, it just has to come out. You know, the hard thing about, of course, in the edit, there were so many more truths there that didn't all make it, because you have to work with the thread. But it was very fun for me to sit around and think about things from my own life, and I'm like, how do I hide these into things that are other things, and then create truths from other people or stories I've heard in my life. It was a fun acting exercise. How honest can you get?
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, how was it to play characters that don't have that kind of thought process behind what they're saying? They just have to say it because they're being, quote unquote, forced to being honest in that moment.
I
Sorry.
I think it's like we have to be, the characters don't, they're not choosing to be honest, they have
Yeah.
to be honest. And it's fun. I mean, I wish that, I mean, people hide things from each other all the time and are scared to say things and scared to communicate. And um, the idea of having something that forces you to communicate and be honest is kind of cool, because I think um, some of us are really bad at it to various degrees. So it's fun, like, oh my God, I have to say this. And then what's even more interesting is everyone else's reaction to it.
Yeah.
And I think like the fun thing about it too is, at first you think, when we think of like relationships, or especially longer ones, or in communication, or lies and that kind of thing, you're thinking about, oh, like I think that no one's purposefully, let me rephrase it. I think that they're not only lying to each other, they're lying to themselves. And I
Mhm.
think that that was the liberation in that moment, like when we get to certain parts in the second half of the film, is that these characters are being honest with themselves for the first time, and it's being greeted in an open way by the others, which is not what you would have expected, especially considering everything that's going on. And I think that what I love about Nora's writing so much, yes, like the first, I see it in chapters. The first part, no one's really telling the truth. Then we get to a part where everyone's okay. We're gonna choose to like be honest now, and even in that moment, you are hearing two sides of a story, and someone is lying, or maybe that is both the
Mm.
truth. So even when they're choosing to tell the truth, they're not able to, because they are not telling the truth themselves yet.
Oh, I love that. For our last question, I like asking this just because I think it's fun, and like you said, Nora, you realize watching it with an audience what was like actually clicking like you wanted it to. What for
Mhm.
you all is the most exciting part about this part of the process, where like we're kind of the last step in promo, and then it goes out into the world, and then people get to see it? Is it like, seeing their reactions online or going into a theater and hearing them? Like, what is your favorite part about kind of the send off of something you've been working on?
I had such an experience in Tribeca watching people watch it, and people came up to after every screening and it made them think of something, even if they were like, "Oh, I can't believe They cheated, great. Or I can't believe this. Somebody had some kind of emotional reaction. And to me, like, that's the whole point. That's the point of doing this. It's a catharsis for me, of course, writing it. I hope it's some kind of experiential catharsis for us making it. And then the final step is people watching it. It's all a communication. Literally, it's why I do this. It helps me understand life better. I hope I've gotten so much from watching other people's art. So it's just the final conversation piece in the artistic conversation. So
I think it's that, you know, we filmed this, what is it, over 2 years ago, Nora?
Yes.
And you know, and Nora's lived with the piece longer, so I wonder if she's had a similar experience. But I think what's really unique about this one is in watching it again recently and not having visited it for like a year or two. Um, Not to get too personal, but I was in a very different place personally than I was now than when we were filming it. And what was amazing, what I'm so excited about and like feel really grateful for is that things resonated with me and I understood things and it felt really relevant to me now in a way that was completely different and but felt very honestly relatable to me back when we filmed it or back when I first read it. And I think that is very special and unique because sometimes you are part of something and then when the story is shared with everyone you're kind of like, ooh, does that really ring true now? And it's really interesting that it feels like you can kind of grow up with this movie in a sense and you can keep coming back to it and keep the conversation going with yourself because we change as people every day.
Well, I loved this movie. I can't wait for everyone else to get to see it who hasn't seen it yet. And so thank you guys for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
By next week, it'll feel like a bad dream. By next year, you won't even remember that it happened.
I think I'm always gonna remember the day that my husband f***ed your wife.